In this lesson, we're just going to continue with our shadows. Another common mistake is to get too close and zoom up too far. So you don't want to like do this and start painting because you zoom out, they're going to lose a lot of those details. So we're just going to keep this simple. And all right, now think about where this light is. This light is coming from the front, but so his hand's kind of a borderline. It's about the same angle. I'm going to go ahead and just fill this in. So I think it just looks better that way. So again, and I'm also thinking about like the shadow under here, under that the shoulder pad. It's going to throw a shadow on there. We're going to get little bits of shadow underneath the cape here. I'm zooming up just a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better. And this whole side's probably going to be in shadow, little edge there. Alright, and all this we'll put in shadow. And the whole time when you're deciding where the shadows go, one of the most common questions that I get from students is, well, how do you know where to put the shadows? Always think about everything in 3 dimensions, just like you would if it was a real thing. So I'll give you guys an example here. So like when I'm thinking about a leg, I'm not just thinking about those 2 lines that make the leg here. So if I change this to something you guys can easily see, like this green. So I'm going to deselect this for a second. So I'm not thinking about, here's a line, I got to put shadows over here, okay? I'm actually thinking about the shape. So almost any shape can be broken down into some basic parts. And so this is sort of like kind of like a squashed cylinder we're looking at here. It's kind of one end's kind of been squished down, but if we were to like draw rings to kind of show you what this would look like, it would look something like this. So I'm thinking about these shadows are going to sort of all fall on this side, because of where the light source is. If we let's see, if we get rid of, let's clear that, even this layer here, it's kind of another squashed cylinder. But almost all of this is in shadow because of the angle. So I'm thinking about, when I go back to my shadow layer, I'm thinking about that coming down, but then you also have this area here where the knee is, so I'm kind of leaving some space for that. So it helps to know anatomy to color. You really can't color well without knowing at least some basic anatomy. You don't have to be an expert, but if you can at least be able to break things down into some basic shapes, you'll do well. All right, so I think that's pretty good. We're off to a pretty good start here. I lost my selection, so I selected, just hold down that blue S again, or that S, the selection tool, it'll bring it back to the last selection that it was. So yeah, and you can decide, what level of detail you want in your shadows. I'm keeping this pretty basic for right now. All right, so we've got some shadows now. Now let's say that we want to add maybe some lights, okay? Now this method here is, it's pretty much cell shaded, I guess you could call it, where pretty much everything is 1 or 2 colors. You've got your base color and your shadow color. And for some art, even this art, I think this works pretty well without all of that detail. But let's say you want to take it a step further. Sorry, I forgot this little area in here. Because his arm is going to be throwing a shadow. So something like that. All right. So highlights. Now there's, again, lots of ways to do this, but I'm gonna make a new layer, and all of these are under the inks. Okay, we're not getting on top of the inks for anything yet. The only thing that I would ever do on top of the inks is if I was doing some glow or something, which we'll be doing on this a little bit later. And I'm gonna rename this to light. It's fine. Now there are a lot of different layer modes for light. And it just depends on what you're in the mood for. There's no real right or wrong answer. I know pros that work in all the modes, that use all the modes, or that doesn't really matter. But what I'm going to do for our light layer, we'll try a couple. There's a whole little section down here. You've got darken, light, and it's showing you all these different layer modes you have available. I'm going to go to lighten, and we'll just go through each one, and I'll show you you'll see what it looks like. So I'm going to get like a really bright orange color, okay? Almost as saturated and bright as you can get. And we'll leave the same marker there. I've still got my thing selected, but if you lost it, if you did something and forgot it, just hold down that selection tool again. It'll bring back the last selection. And same thing here. I'm thinking about where that light source is. And with hair, you can even break hair into shapes in a weird way. So this part here is sort of like a squashed cylinder, okay? Now, it's more complicated than that, but the light source, it works the same way. You know, if you light a cylinder, you're going to end up with this little section here where that light's bouncing off, right? And if you don't believe me, find any kind of like cylindrical object that's shiny, and you'll see that the light is usually just kind of a line on a cylinder. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get my bright light here. And we're in lighten mode right now. I'm just going to see what this looks like because I don't use lighten very much. Yeah, actually that original dark orange, it wasn't dark enough, or it was too dark. So I moved it over here to just a more white in it. And you guys can see what that looks like. It's not too bad. I'm not a big fan of lighten mode, but let's try a different mode. Oh, let me just clear that. There we go. So screen mode is very popular for lights. So I'm going to go try my orange again. You can see how it adds a little bit of yellow, or more yellow than what it is. And you can be as rough or as quick with this if you want. So it works pretty well in the hair. You know, and you could add some little streaks in it maybe. It's going to catch some more over here on this side. And again, if you mess up, don't be afraid to go and grab the eraser and clean it up. You know, maybe the top of the ear. Now again, if I'm thinking about the shape of this face, you know, it's kind of going to do this. And again, this might take some practice, but it sort of works. And then it's going to kind of catch his nose here too a bit at that angle. So screen's pretty good for that. You can also try add. Now add's like super intense, okay, really intense. So I don't recommend using it very often. But if you can always turn the opacity down. So like on that layer is open, I can just grab that and tone it down a lot. So if you work with add mode, it usually needs to be really desaturated, not desaturated, but really not much opacity. So even 26%, 25%, you know, and now we can use that and get some pretty cool colors. And you can do this all over. Right. And then here's another cylinder over here. So we can make that a little bit, we'll go brighter with this a little bit later. Since it's chrome, or I'm going to say that it's chrome, I do want that to be super reflective. So we can have another layer for that, or we can draw on top, however we want to do it. So that's in add mode. That's a pretty simple way. You can also color dodge is also gets pretty intense. It's not quite as intense as add mode, but if you turn it up, the opacity up, you can see it's like really bright. So if you, I mean, if he had like, if he was a superhero and flying up against the sun or something, or it's some kind of energy blast or something. But the only time that I use uh, color dodge is if I'm doing some kind of special effect, usually. But I kind of like the way that add looks on this. Now, something else to keep in mind with coloring, and I realize this is not specifically a coloring course, but especially if you're coloring, whether it's for comics or just, posters or whatever it is you want to do, always think about the fact that color is there to help the viewer, guide their eye to what it is that you want them to look at. And this is a pretty simple piece, and it's not very much to it. But if it was really complicated, or if he was bigger on the page, or there was a lot of other elements, I might need to draw more attention to generally the face and hands and that kind of things. So I'll spend more time, in an area like this, adding lots of little details. If I want, maybe, and then this is not a great example because it's kind of cartoony, but I can go in and add all these little details and bits and things, but I might not worry about that quite as much on like his shoe, because all of that contrast up here is going to draw your attention to that area. So think about that. Usually you're going to put contrast in the places that you want, or the most contrast is going to go where you want the viewer to look. So keep that in mind. So that's a few easy ways that you can do some lights and shadows. In the next lesson, I'll show you guys some different techniques.